Morning, everyone. It's a nice balmy 12 or 15 degrees out right now. We got probably 6 or 7 inches of light fluffy snow yesterday. I was at work, so when I got home this morning I plugged the tractor in and now we got to get this snow out of here. It doesn't look like the sap's going to run for probably the majority of the week. Maybe Sunday it'll run again, so we'll get some time to get caught up on some other stuff, but first I gotta get the snow out of the way. So get this thing started, let it warm up, and I'll get all my shoveling done. So I only roof raked the sugar house, and the reason being is that if I don't, the snow slides off and it lands right in front of the building in the woodshed, and it's a wicked pain. So by getting it roof raked, I can clean it right up with the snowblower, and it's all done.
Those are so cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
All right, shoveling's done. Time to use the snowblower. So I'm done cleaning up. I get around the sugar house, the front yard, the paths to the basement and all that, and then I went over and I did the neighbor's driveway for him real quick. And then the other neighbor, I just pushed out the end. They've got a gravel driveway that's pretty beat up right now from the warm weather and the mud, so I didn't go up there, but figured I'd go over my tractor and what I use plowing snow with this thing. This thing's a 2020 John Deere 3032E. I bought it brand new. I got this one basically because I needed it to be able to move barrels of syrup around, and then snow blowing because I figured the wife would be able to do snow blowing too, but she has yet to do that. So what I did do was I got the tires loaded pretty quick after getting it. I needed more weight in the back besides just a ballast box on the back. And then it came brand new with a Frontier SB 111/64, I think it is. Yeah, so it's 64 inches wide. This thing is about perfectly matched for this tractor. It works awesome, and just about every time it snows, I've only broke one shear pin, and that was because I hit a rock like 6 inches around, so that's a pretty big one. I was using the bucket when I first got it to clean up with, but I was tearing the hell out of the driveway. So I ended up finding on Facebook Marketplace an HLA 1800 snow pusher that's 60 inches wide. The bucket's 60 inches wide, the pusher's 60 inches wide. It works pretty good, pretty well matched. It does have a rubber cutting edge on it, which I like for on the gravel down by the sugar house. I don't like it in the driveway because it doesn't scrape down good, but I'm not changing it every time, so you take the good with the bad. I did end up putting chains on it. I found them at one of the local Kubota dealers. They were the cheapest. I know it's probably not supposed to get them at a Kubota dealer when you have a John Deere tractor, but it works. And they're just a 4-link regular chain, and they're kind of a game changer and a lifesaver at the same time, because I've gotten in a couple spots where they really paid off, and then going down to the barn it gets real icy, so it allows me to be able to get moved around down there. So this thing works great. The one thing that I did do was I went down to my buddy's fab shop. He's the one that built the arch for the evaporator with me, and we made it to where you don't have to reach around and crank the chute around. I do it all with electronic switches on the fender and motors on the back. So what I did was we built a bracket right here, and that it's just a GM seat motor. It runs the seat up and back that we put on it, and we welded it into the worm gear. Now the motor is removable. You just unbolt it and it'll come right out if I ever have to swap it. But it kept freezing up on me because the moisture would get into it. So I put a Ziploc bag over it, and that pretty well solved that problem. Now, because of the way I need to snow blow, I need to be able to run the chute deflector up and down a lot. Keeps the snow out of my face because I don't have a cab tractor. So this is just a 12 volt actuator, linear actuator, and we made brackets for it. Now to connect it, it's all 12 volt, makes it easy. So I just got a flat 4 connector for like a trailer on a boat trailer or something like that. That way I can disconnect it. Now it doesn't make a difference because it only gets power when I hit the switches. So I bought 3-way switches. I think that's what they call, maybe they're 4-way, I don't know. But neutral, it doesn't move, and then either side of it, it moves. So if I get up in the seat and I look on my right fender, right there I've got my PTO switch, but here is my switches. So that rotates the chute, and that one pushes it down, and that one pulls it up. And I just wired it whatever way I thought would work. So from here, and it's fast. And that thing is really, anyone that's still reaching around and pulling on it, what a pain in the butt to run that auger. It just, the amount I move it, no way, I would have been pissed by now. But this works great. Now, we did have the actuator hooked up out there, but this year I drilled a new hole on it and moved it down, and that's because it was so slow because it had so far to travel. By moving it in closer, now the chute moves faster, so I don't have to slow down and I can keep pushing forward. This snowblower will about take every bit of snow I can push into it without bogging down. Once in a while on a heavy wet, you just got to slow down a little bit, but it's made, you know, an hour to 2 hours worth of snow blowing into now I do my yard and the two neighbors in an hour. So I don't spend as much time snow blowing. I did put lights on it, so let me push that up. I bought the brackets that go over my lights here. Now those I got on greenparts.com, I think it is. One of the guys at work told me about it. And I didn't really need those. I mean, it helps, but it gave me a bracket that I could mount lights on. So these are just an LED spot flood. So those shoot to the side so that I get light off to the sides and the back. I have one on each side. And then up top, I've got two 18-inch spot flood light strips. And those are, one goes forward, one goes back, and it lights this place up like no one's business. It makes it real easy to get around. Now these run right off the switch on the console. Also upgraded my front headlights to LEDs. Now those I don't get a huge advantage with because the bucket blocks them pretty good, or the pusher, but it's quite a difference. So if I pick it up, then I can see a lot better. I do have to flip it down to get under the deck when I bring wood in. I've hit it a couple times, but as I said, I better pull it down because I gotta bring wood in here in a minute and I'll forget about it for sure. For what I do with this tractor and everything, I mean, it does everything I want. The bucket could lift a little bit more. That's the only thing that I'd do to this tractor to make it better at this point, because it works. And I go in just about every time I get done snow blowing or moving something or scraping the 3 inches of cement sleet off the driveway, and I go, that thing just paid for itself again, because it makes my life a lot easier. But all right, I gotta bring wood in. So the way we bring our firewood in is I've got a cage tank that I put on the forks, and then I can set it in the basement. The tractor just barely fits underneath the deck through the uprights, so it works. But now I can bring in a week to 2 weeks worth of wood at a time with this, and I don't have to put much effort into it, where I used to put it in the four-wheeler trailer from the woodshed, bring it in, have to stack it. You know, it was a lot of work. Now I just do it this way, so I do firewood the easy way now. how we bring wood in. Not much work to it anymore.